As we kick off the 9 o'clock hour here on Sunday morning on Robin Hood Radio, once again, Willie Hallihan joins us, Sporting a Cause. SportingACause.com is his website, where he lists chronological events that are all sports-related, but also somehow tied to fundraising and sports. And Willie, good morning. Another beautiful Sunday morning.
Yes, it is, Marshall. Love the cool nights for sleeping, and the sun's still warm. The ash trees starting to drop leaves on the back lawn. I love it. It's my favorite time of year.
All right, so what's coming up?
Well, I'll start off with something that came up yesterday. I stopped by the Sharon Classic Road Race over in Sharon.
First one I've missed in 36 years.
Yeah. Well, I know you've got a lot going on, and you were there in spirit.
Yep.
In fact, on my way over, I heard you promoting it on the radio, so you were there. You know. This is a big race for this area. They had, I'd say, 150 runners, maybe even better by the time registration was over. So that's a good, healthy race for this part of the world. I'd say maybe 20 of them were from the 169 Town Society. That's a group from downstate that their goal is to run a race in each of Connecticut's 169 towns. But the thing that was the most fun, I took some video, and I have it on my Willie Hallihan Facebook page, were a couple of the kids' races. There were 3 or 4 of them, and I got a video of, I think they were 2-year-olds. There were 4 of them, and they were just adorable. You know, their enthusiasm was incredible, and they took off. They're like a bunch of squirrels because they weren't really paying attention to the route they were supposed to take. They were just running around and just had the greatest time. It was great to see. Check it out on my Facebook page. Today is the final day of the virtual Crop Hunger Walk. It's virtual again this year. It's a very popular walk in this part of the world. It's been going on for decades. In years past, it would be held at the Housatonic Valley Regional High School. They'd have 500-600 people. Oftentimes, over half of the field were young people from like Housatonic or Hotchkiss and Salisbury Boys School and Indian Mountain School. But anyway, again, this year it's virtual, and the money that they raise, 25% of it goes to hunger, to feed the hungry in our area and then other areas of the world. Also today is the BT5K. That's also virtual. It started last week and will conclude next Saturday, but it's ongoing through this weekend, and that supports the work of the Brain Tumor Association. Also today, the 4th weekend of the guided tours, sponsored by the Upper Housatonic Heritage Area. That's ongoing. I haven't talked too much about, I mention them each week because they're a big part of what's going on, but I haven't been too specific. There are just so many of them. But I'll just mention a couple. Today there's a tree identification walk over at the Pond Mountain Natural Area in Kent. That's like an 800-acre preserve, and that's from 10 to noon. That's led by arborist Russell Plum. Most of these walks, about 20 per weekend, are guided by experts in their field. There's going to be a 17-mile bike ride in Stockbridge. There's a walking tour of the Golden Hill Town Forest, led by naturalist Linda Seitz in Lee, Mass. A canoe paddling trip on the Housatonic starting in Lenox. And then next Saturday and Sunday will be the final weekend. If you haven't had a chance to take part in any of these, go to my website, find the links, you see exactly what's going on. There'll be 20 or some events, as there have been every weekend. It'll be the 5th and final weekend of that series. Also today is the final day of the Goshen Dog Show. That's being held at the Goshen Fairgrounds. Also today is the Highland Lake 5K in Winsted. That benefits the Northwest Connecticut YMCA. That kicks off at 10. All these events I'm talking about it's possible for people to listen to this and still make it to these events today. Also today, the Dutchess and Ulster Counties Out of the Darkness Walk Against Suicide will be held at the walkway over the Hudson, starting on the Highland side. Joy Sherwood, she's the widow of Joey Sherwood of Salisbury. He took his life several years ago. Again, every year she's either the largest fundraiser or right up near the top, and she's the second highest this year. She raises a lot of money for the walk. The goal of the American Foundation to Prevent Suicide is to reduce suicides by 20% by 2023. The latest statistic about suicides in the United States is from 2019, where 47,000 Americans took their lives, and I'm sure that here in 2021 that it's probably over 50,000, and this foundation its goal is to reduce it by 20%. Also today, the second annual Great Falls Brewing Company 5-mile run will start at 11 this morning at the depot in North Canaan, right where the Great Falls Brewing Company is located. And some of the proceeds from that will benefit the Canaan Child Care Center. Tomorrow, the Torrington PAL, PAL 12th Annual Golf Classic will be held at the Torrington Country Club. PAL stands for the Police Activities League, and it's a great organization. They're all over the country. This is the Torrington branch, and the policemen run these programs. They run all kinds of sports programs and other activities for kids. It's kind of like the Boys and Girls Club, I think, in a way. This tournament always fills up. I mean, some golf tournaments may languish over time, but this one always fills up almost immediately because it's so popular, and they raise money for these programs. Wednesday, the 29th, the Ride to End Alzheimer's Summer Challenge will conclude. That's been a sort of virtual event. It's the bike riding version of the Walk to End Alzheimer's. There was a bicycling element last weekend at Lime Rock Park during the Walk to End Alzheimer's. Friday, October 1st, the Thomas J. Berlinghoff 13th Annual Memorial Golf Tournament will be held over at the Beekman Golf Club in Hopewell Junction. Proceeds will go to a scholarship fund for a student at Weebatuck High School. Also Friday starts the month-long run of Making Strides Against Breast Cancer. And this is a big fundraising event nationally, but for the first time, Marshall, there is no local element. In years past, there's always been a Litchfield County one or something in the Berkshires, but for the first time, there is no walk in our tri-state area. But the cause is important, so I mentioned it anyway. You can go to my website to get a link to either a walk elsewhere, or if it's a cause that's important to you, you can find a way to donate to that cause. Also on Friday, the 4th Annual Playground Golf Foundation Golf Tournament will be held at the Copake Country Club over in Prairieville. And that tournament funds a variety of golf programs for children where they can learn to golf for free. Next Saturday, on the 2nd, will be the Columbia Green version of the Out of the Darkness Walk Against Suicide, and that'll be held at Dutchman's Landing in Catskill. Also next Saturday, the Norfolk Land Trust Trail Races, the 2021 Haystack Challenge, will be held at Barber Woods in Norfolk. There will be both a 5K and a 10K run, and this year, for the first time, they have a half marathon as well. The proceeds from that will benefit the Norfolk Land Trust. Also next Saturday is the first annual Hudson Valley Rodeo. This is at Keene Stud in Amenia. Besides the rodeo, there's going to be a concert later in the day. Silo Ridge is one of the sponsors, and the proceeds will go to the Amenia Wassaic Community Organization.
I'd like to clear up on that. We had several questions about a week ago.
Yeah.
Because there's regular tickets, and then there's special tickets that you can buy as well. And some people thought that the refreshment stands and stuff like that were only for the higher tickets. No. That's totally different. So when you buy a ticket there, you've got access to plenty of food, soda, drinks, the whole 9 yards. And I cleared that up because it was a big problem 2 weeks ago, but this sounds like it's going to be a big fundraiser.
Yeah, it does sound like it, and I love it when we get sort of a new type of event, and having Silo Ridge involved. I mean, it's going to be top shelf. I mean, I'd love to see their involvement too. And also next Saturday, a lot going on next weekend, the Michael J. Fox Foundation's Fall 5K, 10K, and Half Marathon will be taking place. It's on one day next Saturday, but it's virtual this year. And you can get the details for that at Sporting a Cause. The proceeds, of course, will go to the Parkinson's research. The virtual event, the format's pretty much the same. You run, walk, whatever you want to do, wherever you want to do it, and you raise money for the cause. Again, next Saturday, the Karazinki Emergency Fund 10th Annual Golf Tournament will be held at the Canaan Country Club. I'm glad to see this tournament going on, Marshall, because it was in jeopardy of lapsing. Not for lack of interest, because they fill up. I mean, people respond to that tournament. As I said earlier, some tournaments lapse just because people lose interest in it over time, and the participation wanes, and there's just no reason to continue it. But this was just had trouble finding people to run it. And finally, they got it together, and they're pulling it off, and I'm happy to see it. It's very popular, and the proceeds from that tournament help people in the area with who are in emergency situations for one reason or another. Next Sunday, October 3rd, is the Steel Rail Half Marathon, 8K, and Full Marathon. A lot of multi-event races these days. The races will be run on Ashewiltacook Rail Trail in Lanesboro, Mass. And the proceeds will help with, I won't try to say it twice because I'll screw it up the second time. Proceeds will help on that trail's maintenance. Also next Sunday, the Berkshire County Out of the Darkness Walk to Prevent Suicide. That's the third of the series in our tri-state area. That'll be held in downtown Pittsfield. You can find the link and details on my website. And as I said before, bears repeating, next weekend will be the final weekend of the Heritage Walks. If you haven't taken part in any of these guided tours, you'll want to do this. There's going to be 20-some of them. You can find the link to the Heritage website. It's a very comprehensive website. You can get the link on my website to get to it. And that wraps up the month pretty much, Marshall, as we tear another page from the calendar. Events will slow down a little bit. As I've said time and time again, September is the busiest month, at least on my calendar of sports-related fundraisers, but there'll be plenty of things in October to talk about.
All right, Willie, have a great weekend, and we'll speak to you next Sunday.
Great, Marshall. You do the same. Thanks.
Willie Hallihan, Sporting a Cause. Once again, the website is sportingacause.com.